In this video, we're covering rounding and estimating numbers. So we're going to first focus on rounding numbers. So rounded numbers are often easier to work with and to compare. So for example, if we're talking about a town's population of 18,254, this can be rounded to 18,300 because 18,254 is closer. So we would use 18,300. We could also round it to 18,000 because it's closer to 18,000 than it is to 19,000. So when we round a number, we cut it at a required place and then we look to the digit to the right. Now, if the digit is smaller than 5, we round down. And if it's 5 or greater, we round up. Now, before we begin looking at some examples, we're going to cover some of these place values. So on your screen there, you can see what we call each place value. So we've got 100,000s, 10,000, 1,000, 100, tens, and ones. This will be useful as you go through questions which specifically focus on rounding to one of these place values. So the first example we're looking at is round each number to the nearest 100. So we have 3,148. So I'm just going to write it a bit bigger. And we're rounding to this position. All right. So what we do first is we look to the number to the right. Now, is that number greater than 5? No, it's less than. And if we said it's less than 5, we know we round down. And what that means is we don't change anything. The 1 just stays as 1. So 3,148 rounded to the nearest 100 is 3,100. Now, to make more sense of this, we go, well, if we're talking about 3,148, is that closer to 3,100 or is it closer to 3,200? Now, it is closer to 3,100, so it makes sense that we round down. So here we have another one. I'm going to write it a bit bigger. Now again, I'm going to circle, we're rounding to the nearest 100. So I'm circling that number. Now we're focusing on the number to the right of that, which is a 7. Now 7 is bigger than 5, so greater than. And that means we need to round up. So we round up the circled number. So the 2 becomes a 3. So we got 4,934,300. And to double check, is 4,934,277 closer to 4,934,300? Yes, it's closer to that than it is to 200. So we did the right thing and we rounded up. So now we're going to round this number, 64,218, to the nearest 1,000. So I'm going to write this number out. I'm going to circle the 1,000 and then draw an arrow focusing on what we need to round up, identify the right number. So is the number the arrow is pointed to less than 5 or is it equal to or greater than? So it's less than. So we round down. Now remember, round down doesn't mean that the 4 gets smaller, it just remains as a 4. So now we're going to round the number to the 10. So 6, 4, 2, 1, 8. I'm going to circle the 10th position. Now is the number that the arrow is pointing to bigger than 5? Yes. So it's greater than. So we round up. So the 1 now becomes a 2. So 64,220. So sometimes we can use rounding to help us estimate answers because estimating answers can be a lot quicker, especially if we don't need to be 100% accurate. So what that means is we have an example here and what we need to do is round each of these numbers. So the 55, is that closer to 50 or is it closer to 60? It's closer to 60, so I'm going to round that up. So the 55, so I'll write this out here and then underneath I'll write what they changed to. So the 55 becomes, let's do it in a different color, 60. 34, so the 4 is less than 5, so that goes to 30 because we round down. 22, the second digit is less than 5, so it rounds down to 20. We have 46, the second digit is greater than 5, so that becomes 50. And then finally 136, the last digit is greater than 5, so this goes to 140. So now we just have to add these 10 numbers. Now if we add each of those, we get 260. Now another trick you could have done here is removed all the zeros, add those numbers, and then add the 0 back on. Just something to think about. So to recap the video, we've covered rounding numbers. So if the digit to the right is smaller than 5, we round down. If the digit is 5 or greater, we round up. Now on your screen is a reminder about the place values. You have your 100,000s, 10,000, 1,000, tens, 100 ones, they're all there. And remember, we can use estimating numbers. We can use our skill in rounding numbers to simplify some of these harder problems and to get a quick answer if we don't need to be 100% accurate.